Tonight, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet says no decision has been made on a public sector pay cut, but there will be late salaries. Government seeks an extension to the state of emergency. Dr. Ernest Hilaire questions why. And the Education Minister defends her position on the former SLP laptop program. With that and more, coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Tuesday, the 21st of April, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on Kiss FM and on our Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet has indicated that there has been no official proposal of salary cuts to the public sector. He says what has been proposed is a differential method of pay that is with cash and bonds. The Prime Minister has indicated that negotiations are still ongoing with public sector unions, and what will be evident is a delay in payment from the 23rd to the end of the month.
Public service workers are on edge about the much talked about proposed pay cut. The CSA has indicated to its members that it received proposals on April 19, 2020 at 10:30 p.m. The proposals are as follows. 1. Grades 1 to 6 gets their full salary. 2. Grades 7 to 18 gets 50% of their salary and the remaining 50% in bonds. 3. Grades 19 and above gets 25% of their salary and 75% in bonds. The executive met on April 20, 2020 to discuss the matter, noting that the proposals need to be taken to the membership. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet on Tuesday insisted that there will be no salary cut. However, he explained that negotiations are ongoing with unions to arrive at common ground.
First of all, the government is not proposing any form of pay cuts. The government is honoring its collective agreement. This is why we've met with the unions to indicate to them that we do not want to renegotiate our collective agreement. But what we're recommending is that government find a way to convert some of the cash payments into bonds. And we're open to any ideas that they have as to how to do that. We are paying the civil servants their salaries. We are paying the civil servants part in cash and part in a bond.
The PM noted that because of the ongoing negotiations with the unions on the new methods of pay, April salaries will be delayed by 1 week from the 23rd to the 30th in order to complete and seal the decision, as the government does not want any proposal to come off as forced. The Prime Minister indicated that one serious challenge facing the economy right now is cash flow. As such, the government needs to be very careful with how it allocates its cash, since it has no indication of when the crisis at hand will be over.
The first presentation was taking into consideration that the IMF, the World Bank, the ECCB, and our economic staff here had a preliminary prognosis that the economy was going to contract for 2021 by 10%. We had anticipated or expected that in late March, early February, April, that our cash flow would have been reduced to about $33 million.
Prime Minister Chastanet says that given the partial closure of the economy and the lack of revenue coming into the country, additional monies will have to be sourced from the regional commercial banks in order to sustain and continue the basic operations of the country.
We have negotiated with the commercial banks to get an increase our overdraft facility to $110 million. We are going to the board of the IMF on the 27th of this month for a loan of $30 million US. We've put in an application with CDB for a policy-based loan of $35 million US. And we're also getting final approvals from the ECCB to get a loan of approximately 80 million EC. Altogether, we're talking about $240 million that we've been able to negotiate between now and next month. But I want everyone to understand that those are one-time injections.
The Prime Minister asserted that every government department is deserving and has been working tirelessly during such unprecedented times. However, he asserts that everyone should realize that we are all in this together. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Deputy political leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party and Castries South MP, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, has said that there should not be a full reopening of commercial activity on the island unless the public has been assured that testing has been done and St. Lucia does not have high in-community spread of COVID-19. However, he says this does not mean that the government needs to extend the state of emergency. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more in this report.
Consecutively for the past 11 days, St. Lucia has recorded no new confirmed cases of COVID-19. Of the 15 infected persons, 13 have recovered and been discharged from isolation. Even with this seemingly great news, Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire has indicated that he will only be comforted to want things to go back to normal when mass testing has been done island-wide.
When I get statistics that tells me we have a reduction, but we've also been doing so much testing in St. Lucia, we are satisfied that we are getting back to normal. I don't think we should feel so comforted in saying, boy, we have not had no cases in the last 10 days. I will be a lot more comforted if you said to me in the last 10 days we did 3,000 tests throughout the country. We've tested all the frontline workers. I mean, put it that way. You're watching television and you read that people have mild symptoms and they're at home. I mean, how do we know what's happening and what's not really happening?
Dr. Hilaire noted that it may be very counterproductive if the country were to be reopened for full commercial economic activities, as the only way of mitigating the spread of this virus is through social distancing. He says the country does not have a full picture of what is happening with the virus and as such should not be too hasty with wanting everything back to normal so quickly. Dr. Hilaire has however indicated that while a full scale-up of economic activity is not ideal, there is no need to extend the state of emergency as the initial call for the state of emergency was not needed.
We did not think that there was a need for a state of emergency. We believe all the powers that the Prime Minister wanted, he could have gotten under the Public Health Act and under the Quarantine Act. He did not need a state of emergency. We still have not seen why a state of emergency was needed in St. Lucia. That the Prime Minister and them, as a competent authority, has been issuing orders, but he could have issued those orders under, other legislation as well. And in fact, in the whole management of this corona crisis, we have seen inconsistencies, we've seen changing of position, we've seen conflicting positions, and we still do not believe the government is in fact approaching it in the best way possible.
The Castries South MP indicated that his party is allowing the government space to execute what it has proposed, as the focus right now is on the bettering of the country. However, he has said that the opposition will voice all its concerns as they too have the welfare of the country at heart. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The third academic school term commenced on Monday, the 20th of April. Minister for Education, Dr. Gail Rigobert, has indicated that she is very comforted by the willingness of teachers, parents, and students to make the e-learning initiative a success. There have been some complaints about a lack of resources, and Dr. Gail Rigobert has been criticized for her stance on the former SLP laptop program. But the minister defends the administration's decision to discontinue that program.
Education Minister Dr. Gail Rigobert has come under much fire for comments that questioned what benefits students had in receiving laptops in Form 3 as they previously did under the SLP government. With the commencement of a virtual school third term, the complaints have been coming in about students and even teachers not fully being equipped with the right or adequate resources to teach and learn online. Outside Parliament on Tuesday, Minister for Education Dr. Gail Rigobert defended the UWP government's decision to discontinue the school's laptop program.
We have always maintained that e-education, that integration of ICTs in education, that leveraging ICTs in education is not equivalent to only equipping a child with a laptop in a particular form.
The third academic term in St. Lucia commenced on Monday 20th April and will be completed online. Dr. Gail Rigobert says she is very pleased with the fact that despite the challenges being faced, teachers, students, and parents are rising to the occasion and embracing the initiative of online working.
I must say that I am really encouraged by the willingness of teachers, parents, and other stakeholders to embrace this mixed modality, recognizing fully what some of the challenges are, but rising to the occasion to embrace the opportunity to ensure that our students do not suffer any significant break in their instruction or in their learning experience.
Dr. Rigobert asserted that there are many other measures that have to be put in place when the topic of giving a student a laptop arises, such as the having of the skills and capacity to use and care for the given device.
There are other accompanying building capacity initiatives that will help whoever the end user is, be it the teacher or the student, to be better equipped with skills to leverage the hardware, which is the device. So what we have done was to show the various interventions, be it enhancing capacity at the teacher level, introducing new courses, or improving the courses that students take to enhance their e-capacity, which means their capacity to use a device, whether it is retrofitting schools and equipping schools with more hardware or transforming them into smart classrooms. It is that suite of activities, all of these things put together, that will really give true meaning to any ambition for online learning, for integration of ICTs, or for e-education in St. Lucia.
The Education Minister says challenges are bound to arise, and as such, parents are free to ask for support from the Ministry of Education, the district education offices, and even the teachers when they begin feeling overwhelmed. She has indicated that the Ministry of Education is currently in the process of negotiations with telemarketing companies to provide the ministry with a 3-digit hotline, which will be used as a support line for parents as they navigate through the world of e-schooling with their children. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
Following expressed concerns by the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association with regard to the government's planned phased reopening of the country, Commerce Minister Bradley Felix has defended the move. Felix says the government must remain committed to all aspects deemed essential to run a country, even in times of tragedy and emergency, ensuring that the economy does not remain at a standstill for extended periods of time. Jacques Wooding tells us more.
In a recent statement, the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association said that even a phased reopening runs a risk and links the situation to a patient who chooses to stop taking antibiotics early, simply because they started to feel better. The SLMDA strongly believes that due to limited testing being done on island, any level of reopening will greatly heighten the risk for viral spread throughout the population. After expressing his solidarity with the concerns of the SLMDA for the health of the population, Minister for Commerce Bradley Felix went on to justify the reopening of commercial activity in the context of economic survival.
Yes, the medical professionals would definitely see it from a perspective of ensuring that we're in the all clear. The business community will see it from the point that we are dying. So it is really a balancing act that as a government you need to make. It's one of those moments, when we have to assess critically where we are as it relates to spread, what are we going to do as it relates to controlling any further cases, and how do we balance in terms of the reopening of the country. So it will continue to be a phased approach. And at the end of the day, we are all supposed to be our brother's keeper and protect ourselves.
According to Felix, this phased approach will only see the reopening of businesses seen fit to adhere to personal protection protocols for staff and customers.
Really, we're in a place, it's a rock and a hard place, to be honest with you. In fact, up to this morning, there are a number of, as a Minister of Commerce, there are a number of applications coming on our desk as it relates to reopening. We are extremely careful in the decisions that we make. One of the concerns that we have is that anybody that is given an approval to open, there are very stringent protocols in place as far as both the internal staff and the customers as it relates to how they operate, how close are they, what kind of interaction that takes place.
Felix says this move is not set in stone. And as the COVID-19 situation continues to develop, Cabinet is in constant discussions to ensure that the continuation of commercial activity does not hinder the containment of COVID-19. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the opposition fires back at accusations that it's hoping for the worst in the COVID-19 crisis to score cheap political points. Labour Minister Stephenson King to address the nation about government's plans to assist workers and jumpstart the economy. And Tourism Minister Dominic Fede updates on the recovery plan for the tourism sector. That and more coming up after the break.